Few fight announcements and we'll duck out of here. Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Bud Crawford is officially set for September. Dateline, Las Vegas, Nevada, Allegiant Stadium, 70,000 fans in attendance. That's the expectation. Angel, give me your thoughts. It's finally official. What do you think?
Well, dude, it's funny. I'm not even like the fight is big, but you know what I'm more excited? The fact that if they do actually do it in Allegiant Stadium, it's like finally they're doing what we wanted people to do there.
Yeah.
And they're gonna do it the right way.
Stadium shows are the most underrated thing.
By the way, if I'm gonna be honest, as far as boxing, I mean, if you were gonna do it in the States, Canelo Bud Crawford, Allegiant Stadium was one of the best choices you can make.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we've been calling for somebody to do an Allegiant show for a while. You know, in you and me specifically, because stadium shows are so much fun, dude. Even Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, that fight sucked, but the grandiose of seeing, 70,000 people in AT&T.
Now, could you imagine if that was a title unification bout or a double champ fight or anything like that?
Or in this case, it's two of the best pound-for-pound boxers alive meeting in the middle. Like, oh, dude, two action guys, too. Like, this is going to be an incredible fight, and this is Riyadh's season because it doesn't ever stop. And on the undercard, I'm sure they're going to have some big fights, too. I mean, who knows? We don't really have anything announced right now, but I'm assuming that our boy Turkey will come through with some big fights, man, for the undercard. I love this. I love the fact they're putting it in the stadium. I love the matchup. Like I said,
nothing is set, though. We do need to say that. Things could change.
I mean, so here's the thing. It was broken by The Ring Magazine. And The Ring Magazine is owned by Turki Al-Sheikh, who is promoting this fight. So I feel like that's kind of
you gotta assume, but
yeah, I mean, it hasn't been formally announced. But
I will say this though: something that can happen. Negotiations could fall through. They could enter the final stage.
Who knows? Yeah,
and things could get delayed. Someone becomes unhappy. Injuries happen. They have to delay it.
According to the reports, though, they've reached an agreement. Contracts have been signed. Now they're in the finding.
Also, football season's ending. I mean, it's obviously heading in that. It seems like it could potentially be heading in that direction.
And it's the stage right now is finalizing the location and the stadium. So that's what I've heard, and as far as what I've read. So. Yeah, I mean, I love it. Maybe it'll fall apart at the 11th hour, but I'd be surprised. Here's another story though involving Canelo Alvarez. This one, I mean, Canelo Alvarez versus Jake Paul reportedly set for May. That's far from confirmed. With Terence Crawford, we kind of know that one's happening even before this report came out. This is just one report from a guy from ESPN Knockout. I follow the guy. I think it's called Julius Jonalis or something. I'm sure I fucked up your name, bro. Sorry. But
God, Josh.
Spanish guy.
He
reported it, but he also reported Terence Crawford 3 weeks ago. He's a very reputable guy. Reported that Canelo Alvarez versus Jake Paul is in talks for May. Not confirmed, but in talks.
I mean, talks is just conversations. I mean, there's no contract, no nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see where it leads. I'm not going to say it's...
By the way, if somehow that fight were to happen, do you think Canelo would just go out there and flatline Jake?
I think he's been kind of coasting lately, but I think he'd probably want to make a point. That's the only reason he'd probably take the fight. Or
do you think he'd pull like when he did the Chavez Jr., just draw it out, make him suffer?
Beat the shit out. Oh, God. Could you imagine? That'd be so much fun.
Could you imagine? Those comments would be crazy. No way! Canelo doesn't beat Jake. You already know how the comments are.
I know, dude. Oh, man.
No way Canelo loses to a Paul.
Dude, could you imagine if Jake Paul won, though? That'd be so funny. That'd be the funniest shit of all time.
I don't know if I could exist freely after that.
I think if Jake Paul beats Canelo, I'm just going to, go find a new thing to do.
Don't you think, the universe would crack? Like, we would see the other side, whatever the other side. We would start seeing, the third, fourth, and potentially the fifth dimension. Or in sixth, if it does exist. You would have to think worlds would start colliding, planets would hit each other, famine would begin.
Yeah, of course.
All these things would happen.
Apocalypse, yeah. Cats and dogs sleeping together. I mean, they just madness, so
chicks with dicks, dudes with tits.
Yeah, dude, crazy. Oh man. Anyway, so we'll see if this one happens. I'm excited for Canelo Crawford. This one, we'll talk about if this actually comes to fruition, but right now it's still very, very early stages, from my understanding. This one's not early stage. This one's official. KSI versus Dylan Dennis has been set for March 29th, Mrs. 24.
I'm just confused. I have to cut you off halfway because it's just so confusing to me.
Well, he's going to fight Wayne Bridge, who is a footballer with no boxing experience. Now he's deciding to rebook the fight with Dylan Dennis, who's at least fought before. I'm not as down on this fight as everybody because, at this point, I don't think KSI, he's not taking the boxing thing like Jake Paul. He's not really taking that seriously. He kind of just, I bet this is a contractual thing. I bet whenever they signed a deal with DAZN was like, hey, you got to fight one.
Do you think now he's just coasting?
Yes, absolutely.
That's
he's coasting. He's going to try and get the Jake fight, but if he can't get the Jake fight, he's going to fight.
So he has his foot in many things. He's making money through I think yes, like him and the Sidemen have like business together. Obviously, the Sidemen brand as a whole, his own YouTube channels, the music, and obviously the Misfits thing, which is also his thing, as well. Yeah, and I am imagining that he's making like fuck you money for this, and as long as he gets in good shape, he knows he can do a pretty decent job against most of these guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, I think. Yeah, I mean he's very very busy. I get that he has a lot of stuff and a lot of he's handled a lot of different bots, but yeah, I mean this fight's not great. Now, granted, I'm not as down with it as everybody else because I like watching Dylan Dance get the shit kicked out of him, and that's what I assume is gonna happen here. I mean, if he got dominated by Logan Paul, Logan's not as good as JJ,
but he is way bigger.
He is way better, way bigger. I'm
curious to see the weight.
I don't know, man. Let me see.
I always wonder about the weight.
Let me see. Is there a weight class official for this yet?
Because JJ's been a little. I think he has actually lighter from one of his last fights, but he was heavier prior to that. And Dylan didn't really cut much weight at all, if any, for this. So I kind of wonder.
Cruiserweight. We're looking at cruiserweight.
Yeah. Wait. So how much is that again? 190.
Cruiserweight would be 190, I believe.
Yeah, I was like JJ more around the 185 mark personally, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Anyways, man, we'll see what happens. I mean, I'll watch it and hopefully they put a fun undercard or something together.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is.
It could be interesting. I mean, you know how it is. Like you know what you're getting for with these influencer matchups. You know you're not going to get the highest level.
Yeah.